Hello, fellow truthers. I'm David Ravel, and this is ValueSide for Tuesday, March 15. For all of our articles and podcasts, visit valueside.com. Today, the remarkable gift of price. Well, we're all experiencing the sharpest, most dramatic jump in prices that the nation has ever seen. When I go to the store or gas station, it's all I hear about, the cost of everything. I'm even seeing stickers at the gas pump with a photo of Joe Biden and the caption, "I did this." Well, inflation is everywhere. But how do we know? We know it hasn't always been like this. There was a time not too long ago when we might not realize inflation was hitting until well after the fact. Let me tell you a story about how it used to be. About 20 years ago, we were living up in Massachusetts, and out on the road to Worcester was an old general store, one that had been around for a century or so, chock full of all those non-perishables that can last a while on the shelf. Cans of Campbell's soup, beans, rice, all the staples. Now out in front, the store had a couple of gas pumps, and I always got a kick driving by because the store was never in line with the rest of the gas stations in the area. They were either wildly higher in price or wildly lower, and there seemed to be no rhyme or reason to how they priced their gas. So one day I decided to stop by and ask the owner just how he priced it. Simple, he said, when he got his new tank full, he'd add his markup, and that was the price until that tank ran dry. Then he'd do the same thing for the next tank, and so on. Now, it was a time when price of gasoline kept wildly swinging up and down. So depending on when he got his latest tank full, he was either the very lowest price around or the very highest. Now, we may chuckle at this New England Yankee and his old-fashioned ways, but back in the day, that was how everything was priced. And collectively, we might not know that there was inflation driving prices coming into the economy until we got our next tank full. Needless to say, all of this has changed today. Today we're seeing inflation in real time, something that's never happened in our history. Going to the gas station today, and depending on when you drive up to the pump, you may see an entirely different price from just a few hours ago. And at some of the more sophisticated stations, especially those owned by the major distributors, you may actually see a price reflecting the spot market at one of the nation's commodity exchanges. Gas pricing is as sophisticated and electronically connected as we see in the stock exchanges. Now, right now, you can bet that all the big gasoline buyers have already laid out their strategy for purchasing gas. The car fleets, truck companies, railroads, and municipal police and fire have already put in place a strategy for buying gas. And it's pretty obvious what's happening. As the price goes higher and higher, what do? They load up now against those higher prices later. Fill up their spare storage, top off tanks now, perhaps even purchase a few futures contracts if you're a large enough contractor. So that's what's going on in the overall economy. It's going to accelerate inflation right now. As people become convinced that higher prices are here for a while, they'll increase their purchases. This drives prices higher instantly. It will also cause the price to decelerate even faster when we pass the top of this mountain, the time when prices at last start to come down. Now, right now, we're still climbing most of that mountain, higher and higher. It's all anyone can talk about. But that time will come, sometime in the future, when prices begin to decline, and that same inevitable ability of our financial system to provide instant pricing will turn right around and speed us to lower and lower levels. And just like that, inflation will turn to deflation. Now, underscoring just how quickly we can see that price change, oil continues its plunge. Remember earlier this morning, West Texas Intermediate was trading at $130 a barrel. This morning, we're down to just $95 a barrel, a correction of over 25% in just 10 days. In other economic news, China continues this 2-month reporting cycle, something they just started last month. By reporting 2 months, any improvement appears to be twice as large as reality. And that's just what we're seeing in their industrial production reported this morning. Combining the months of January and February, it's up 7.75% for those 2 months. So I suppose a little better look at this would be about a 3.5% improvement for each of the 2 months of January and February. It's good, but it's not great. However, China is doing much better than the EU in industrial production. Production over in Europe for the last 12 months is actually negative, showing a decline of over 1% in European industrial production for the last year. Now here in the U.S., we just got the latest reading on inflation at the wholesale level, coming in at a whopping 10% for the 12 months ended in February. This indicates that inflation is still working its way through the economy. Now this will travel from production to consumption and indicates that consumers are looking at higher prices over the next few months. In earnings today, Ferguson, the heating and plumbing company, should report shortly, while later this afternoon we'll hear from cybersecurity company Centalone and then cloud platform provider Smartsheet. And that's the value side for this Tuesday, March 15. For all of our podcasts and blog posts, visit valueside.com. I'm David Ravel. ValueSide is independently written and researched. The views expressed are strictly my own.